Check. You gotta hold it to make it work. All right, everybody, if y'all could finish getting y'all's food over there. And we're gonna get this thing, all the important people coming right after me that y'all wanna come out and talk to here. So appreciate all you guys coming out today. Appreciate Caddo putting this on. I wanna have a special thanks to GEUS, Mr. Coach Middleton over there, running the camera for your live feed. So y'all don't do anything you're not supposed to do, because it's going to be aired live, and they save it on YouTube, right? Is it YouTube? Yep, YouTube. So you can come out there and take a look at it anytime you want to. Also, big thanks to Fiestas and Caddo for the food. Hope y'all are enjoying it. Woo-hoo! I'm looking forward to that when I get through talking, because I don't want to come burping up here. How many of y'all remember what Hunt County EDA was? Y'all remember coming to any Hunt County EDA stuff? Oh, they're all so young and new. It's awesome. Basically, this was here back up until 2016-17 when it got dissolved, and we re-kicked it off in November of 19. So we're working on 5 years now of getting this thing kicked back off again. Basically, our mission is to communicate important issues related to economic development in Hunt County. Big deal is, we are not, once again, not politically affiliated with anything or anyone. We simply provide education for all of Hunt County, for all the different things that are going on in Hunt County the best we can. We've been working with John and his group here to try to bring this together with Caddo for about 3 years of trying to get this out here to you guys so y'all can see what the heck's going on here in Caddo, because we see all the growth going on. This is our 14th event that we've had. I have the steering committee. If y'all, anybody with the Hunt County EDA, just stand up real quick so they just see you. I'm not going to say your names, but stand up, everybody with Hunt County EDA. Stand up. Stand up. You're with us. Come on, get up there. There's Bobby coming in. All right, all those people you see waving their hands, standing up over there. If y'all have any ideas of anything that you would like to see presented in Hunt County, reach out to them. Shelley's a part of it, Ashley's a part of it as well, the chamber, John, of course. Reach out to them for anything that you'd like to be presented in Hunt County, and we'll do everything we can to bring it to you guys. So with that, our next, Shelley, it's going to be the Hunt County position papers, right? The next thing we're going to do is, will be in probably February. We're working on the exact date, but we're going to show all of y'all our Hunt County position papers that we take up to the state capitol. Hopefully we'll have some of our elected officials there as well, hopefully, to talk about the position papers that we're going to have. So all y'all on that committee, get y'all's position papers in. All right, with that, I'm going to turn it over to the folks y'all want to hear today, and here we go.
Good afternoon, I'm Joel Richardson. I'm the assistant to the city manager for the city of Caddo Mills. Before we go any further, I just wanted to recognize our city leaders that are here today. City Manager Matt McMahon, if y'all would stand and hold your applause like they do on TV till they're all done. Council members John Verity, Justin Popperrider, Mayor Chris Davies, Police Chief Kimberly Collier. Anybody I'm leaving out? There's a lot of city folks here, so I better not screw up. So. Bear with us today on this because we're trying to operate this. And it's kind of tricky, so. City Manager Matt and I have, between the two of us, we've lived in Caddo Mills almost 90 years. So we've seen a little bit of everything. We haven't seen anything like we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. So it's just, we're trying to hold on with both hands and not fall off the dragon of growth. A little bit of background on the city growth in Caddo Mills. According to the Texas Demographic Center, in the last 3 years since the 2020 census, Caddo Mills was the 3rd fastest growing city in the state of Texas by percentage. 4th was our next door neighbor, Josephine, to the west. So you can see we've got a lot of new traffic, a lot of new people in our area. We still keeping our household income up based on the retail coach's information. We're 2nd to Rockwall in the area east of Dallas in household income. And they're projecting our population to be by 2029 to be almost 16,000. seems ridiculous, but that may be low now. As we'll get into here in the next chart or so. Ooh. Sorry. Oh well. Okay, right now we're running about 9,900 new homes that we're dealing with development agreements. Most of these have already been finalized or they're close. So we've got an addition for 4,000 homes north of Caddo Mills toward Greenville. That's still in the work. And D.R. Horton kind of kicked this off late in 2018 when they came in and started building homes. And you can see so far they've built about 1,500. So our population right now estimated is a little over 6,000, and we've still got 7,500, 8,000 homes that are on the books basically that we haven't built yet. So. Just a little background on some of the development that's going along. Looks like 1565, FM 1565, which is the last major road going toward Roy City, is going to be our prime development road as far as houses and retail and commercial. We've got quite a few homes that are going in. You can see the top there that were on the last list, they're going in that area. We've also got some commercial development going in. The pit stop development that's already on the ground there and getting about ready to open is going to have retail and commercial, upscale RV park, concert venue, food trucks. Anything else I'm leaving out there, Matt? And then the Bagleys that are joining us over here today have purchased some land by the airport on 1565. It's going to be a planned medical development, and going to have some retail probably in that also. And then we've also got the old racetrack, the old Red Line Raceway that's on the corner there at 1565 and I-30. That's under contract right now with a big developer that's looking at some big box sites, retail, commercial. So that's going to be our main entrance once TxDOT is finished with the widening 30 and doing all that work. We're looking at that as our main entrance coming into and out of Caddo Mills. On FM 36. Trailstone obviously has theirs there, and we've got another one, Caddo Point, that's looking for almost another 1,000 homes. It'll be up near the high school. And then on County Road 2617, which is by the airport, 3 more subdivisions going in, just homes. So kind of get the gist. Of course, with this homes, we're going to have infrastructure, water, sewer, all that. We're working with TxDOT on widening 1565, 36, 1903, all those are in plan for the next 5 to 10 years. We're also looking, I don't know, you may not be aware, but in 36 coming into town in Caddo Mills, they're looking at a Collin County loop that will go through the bottom and attach to Highway 6 coming from Josephine. It'll be the Collin County outer loop is what they're calling it. So that's going to be a big project. It'll have a big bridge. It'll go over a lot of that bottom land, go over the railroad and over 66 and attach to 6 to get people in and out of Josephine, Nevada, actually bring them our way toward I-30 instead of going through Levon and Wild. Some other things we're looking at, just general things, still trying to find restaurants and grocery stores, more commercial development. A lot of our residents that have moved in, and even the older ones that have been there, are looking for better, more parks. So we just received a $750,000 grant and just applied for another one we think we're going to get. So we're looking at $8 to $10 million in park funding that we're going to be doing over the next 3 to 5 years. Working with the city of Greenville to obtain more water to support all these houses, obviously. And school expansion going at a great clip. Luke will brief next on that. One thing with this increase in population, right now we're showing an estimate that we're about a little over 6,000. In 2000, we were 1,800. So we're going to have a home rule election in November to switch over to a home rule charter that you can do once you're over 5,000 population. So that'll be in November along with the general election. Here's our general development map that our consultants and our engineers have come up with, and I'll have my email address and phone number, and if anybody wants any of this information, you can feel free to reach out to me. One thing on all that home building, we have done that without any muds. So there's no muds in and around Caddo Mills. We're using PID TERS, MMD TERS financing options with these developers. And so far we have no muds. So that's our claim to fame. So one thing that we have picked up in the last few months, Matt and I have been looking at the airport for 40 years, and for 50 or 60 years, it's been a great development jewel that we need to do, and nobody ever did it. So the city recently passed a bond to build 32 new T hangars. We already have 61 people on the waiting list for those 32 hangars, so we'll probably have more. We've got some other bigger developers that are looking at putting executive-style hangars in, so our airport's going to get quite a bit busier. And we've also just recently put a new fuel system out there, airplane fuel. It's doing really well. It's going to be a real good money maker for the city on that line. Here's our TERS district that we passed, worked in conjunction with the county, with Bobby and his guys, the county commissioners, and the hospital district that we're using to, this is our southern TERS. We're also going to be going back with a northern TERS, which would be basically from the high school going up toward 66, toward Greenville. That's just a financing arm that we use to do future development, to pay all the expenses of developments that's not inside the development, would be outside, with roads, sewer, water, anything that would be outside of the developer's cost. So we think that's going to be a great thing for the city and the county and the hospital district going forward. That may be it. Here's my information. If you have any questions or would need any information that we've gone over today, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be glad to. Any questions on any of that? I know I went pretty fast, but we'll try and catch up a little bit. Yes, sir.
Take rate on the TERS? Is it 50% the city, the county?
30% city, 50% hospital district, 70% county. Is that correct, Matt? Yeah, we've had a lot of good negotiations and discussions with the hospital and Bobby and the county commissioners, and it's going really well. We're really proud of. We're kind of hoping to kind of use that as a model for some of these other towns here in Hunt County and in this area. So, got a lot of good city support teams at P3. You probably work with Mary and all stuff. They're really good to work with. Any other questions? Thank you. Next, Luke.
So, thank you, Joel. I appreciate that. We'll get Luke up here. Mr. Allison, Superintendent of the Caddo Mills ISD. I could probably go on with a list of accomplishments and all of his things. It's probably pages long. Joel's going to get his slides, videos, all the accoutrements that go on with all of that. But I'll pass it over to Mr. Allison.
Appreciate that. Can you hear me better like this? Or can you hear me better like this? Why didn't y'all tell me that? I would prefer to talk like this, and I coached, I was a teacher for a long time, so I do want to amplify my voice, and I can be pretty loud. So, but I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to be here today and to speak to you. I always feel like we're a little bit ahead, and then I go visit with Matt and Joel, and I hear that we're behind on building.
All right, book the ice.
All right, I love it.
Anybody that collects children's toys or folk art is gonna bug.
This takes years off my life every time I do this.
But I am grateful for the relationship that we we have with the city and that we have with the Chamber of Commerce. Because I know it's not like
Cast iron. It's industrial looking. It's made 1924. It looks like it came out of Frankenstein.
They're ammonia gauges for ammonia. So.
Ice house.
We talk about it all the time too, whether you have grown up here all your life or whether you're just coming into Caddo Mills, we want to make families feel welcome. We want to make those students feel loved when they walk in those doors and that they belong. We have so many different things in Caddo that kids can get involved in. There's no excuse not to be involved somewhere. We've got programs, we've got certifications, we've got clubs, so every one of our kids can get involved in something because we truly believe that if a kid's involved in something, or me or sports, and I would want to be there Tuesday and Friday night because that's what motivated me. But if we can find other things to motivate our kids to want to come to school, to want to put in that work in order to participate in something, that's the ultimate goal. I wanted to introduce a few people that are with me today.
I thought that might be the case. I'll try to keep it low. I have a few people with me that I'd like to introduce today too. I have my assistant superintendent, Ms. Carrie Allen. Many of you know Ann Payne, but she's our community relations director. Guys, in Caddo Mills, we want to work with our businesses, and we understand that you guys pay a lot of tax money into Caddo Mills ISD. So anytime that we get an opportunity to use you, to be able to call on you for whatever it may be, t-shirts, or if it's a meal or anything like that, we want to stay local, and we feel like it's a full circle. If you pay your tax money, we want to be able to give back to our community as well, too. Ms. Payne's done a phenomenal job the past few years, helping us develop that even more. She's at the Chamber of Commerce meetings. She's constantly sending messages out to our businesses for opportunities. We advertise for our businesses. So any way that we can get the word out about our businesses, we want to help because we realize how much that you do for us. The last one in today is Kendra Mosier. I'd like to introduce her. And Kendra is our elementary curriculum director and whatever else that we need. She does a whole lot for our district and really works to make us look good as well. So thank you guys for all the support. And it comes down to one thing. Guys, Caddo Mills is a very successful school district. It's been a very successful school district for a long, long time. This is my 7th school year in Caddo Mills. And those of you that have heard me talk before, I really enjoyed those first I could say I was a new superintendent, and I can say I didn't know I was a new superintendent, but I can't say that anymore because I've been here for, like I said, 7 years, and we've accomplished a lot of things. But none of that's possible without the community that we have, without the great administration, without the great school board. I have one school board member here today. He probably doesn't want me to introduce him, but it's Barry Stapleton. And guys, you can look too. As school boards go, across the state of Texas, that's how school districts go. And if they're constantly fighting, nothing can happen positively. And we have a school board that asks 2 questions all the time. How's it going to affect our staff and how's it going to affect our kids? And they keep those 2 things in the forefront all the time. And as long as we can keep those things in the forefront and not get caught up in a lot of the other things that some districts do, then we can be successful. And those guys let me work on a daily basis because we develop trust between one another, and I can't say enough about them. I'm going to get to videos or to this PowerPoint in just a minute, but just a little bit about our growth. Whenever I came here 6 years ago, we had 1,819 kids in September of that year. Now we're close to 3,100 students. So that's what our growth has looked like. We'll double in the next couple of years. We had a very big growth, which we'll see on the slide in a minute,
during the 22 school year, when we opened up our new high school, we had about 500 students come to Caddo Mills that year. And I talk all the time too. If Forney, if Mesquite, if Garland picks up 500 students in a year, not that big a deal. But if Caddo Mills does, that's a campus that we're looking at whenever those things happen. And I've been incredibly fortunate to have the community that we have, that we've been able to pass bond elections. And we had one going out in May of 2020, then COVID hit. So all those elections, all those school elections got pushed to November. What happened in November of 2020? It was a presidential election. And everybody says, don't try to pass a bond during presidential elections. We had about 3,200 people show up to vote in Caddo Mills ISD for that election. And we did get that passed for the new high school. That was a $90 million bond. And looking back on that and what things cost now, that's a great investment that we made in our school at that point in time. I talked to our architects, construction managers. I asked, what would that ended up costing $81 million for everything you see out there. And I talk to them all the time, what would that cost now? And that cost would probably be around $130 million to build that school just like we built it back then. So it's still an incredible amount of money. We're forever grateful to the community of Caddo Mills for passing that bond election. After we got that done, we turned around in 2023 and went out for another bond because of our growth. And we passed a $240 million bond for our school buildings. So a new elementary school is being built off of 1903 out in the Trailstone neighborhood. We will open that up in August of 25, so we still have almost a year to get that complete, and we're really on great pace with that, about to be dried in. So even when the rainy season hits, we'll be able to continue to work. So they've done a phenomenal job getting that ready. And then we'll add on to our current middle school, we'll add on to our high school, and we'll build a brand new intermediate school whenever that time comes. Second part of that is that there was an athletic bond that passed as well. And we're building a baseball softball complex that we'll show you in a few minutes. And then also a stadium will be coming at our new high school over the next couple of years. So once again, we live in a place that supports our kids and supports our schools, and I couldn't be more proud and more honored to be the superintendent of Caddo Mills. Go ahead and show me the first one. I got it. Okay. Oh, let me talk about this real quick. I don't think you can, yeah, there it is. This comes straight from our demographic study that we did in the fall of each year. So this was fall of last year's numbers. And you can see this is the new home ranking report throughout the state. We're number 40 right now. Northwest ISD, Prosper ISD, Denton ISD, Princeton ISD is all up there. And then you can see where Caddo Mills falls in. We're number 40 right now. But look at the number of future lots that we have coming to Caddo Mills. 10,780, and remember, that was in the fall of last year, so that number is probably off a little bit. Okay, go next. This shows annual starts and annual closings in our district, and the purple is annual starts. So where we had that really big increase in the 22 school year, you can see the number of starts in 21 was 442 housing starts and 236 in 21-22. You can see the number of closings, 391 and 458. So that's what that equated to, a lot more kids. Of course, interest rates have slowed some of that down over the past couple of years. And where we're going. You can look at this line, shows you district totals. 22, 23, we're at 26, 26. We'll just pick one in here. 28, 29, we're at 46, 79. And then you come down to 23, or 20, 33, 34, we're at 7,062 students. So we're in a really good position right now with our school buildings and where we're going. We just need to be able to keep it up and be able to add on to schools whenever we can, so we really don't get behind the eight ball. So Once again, if you're a Caddo Mills ISD person here, thank you so much for helping our school district and helping us pass those bond elections to stay ahead. This just gives another breakdown. You can see 5 years, 4679, and then in 10 years, 9 years, we'll be at 7,062. This is our high school that we opened in August of 22. It should be a video with the high school. I'll talk while he's getting it. Real quick, people ask all the time, do we have trouble finding teachers? We do have trouble finding teachers at certain levels. If it's an elementary school position, we don't have any trouble finding elementary school teachers because there's plenty of people from surrounding districts that want to come work in our district. We got the teacher incentive allotment. Anybody heard of that? It's something that school districts can develop on their own. We don't get any help from the state level to come up with a plan, but it is something on our own that you can develop. A lot of time goes into it. Ms. Mosier and Ms. Weavers, our curriculum directors, were part of that, and they asked, whenever we were originally talking about it, I said I wanted all of our teachers to be able to qualify for it. I didn't care if they were a PE teacher or a algebra teacher, it didn't matter to me. I wanted them to be able to qualify for that. This past year, we did get that passed, and we had 106 teachers that were TIA. We had 38, there's different levels, but we had 38 master's teachers, and they received a bonus check for $20,000 last June. And that is state funded, so that's something that school districts can take advantage of it, but that's 55% of our teachers that qualify for that. There's nobody in the state that has a higher number than that, nowhere. So that's a testament to the kind of teaching staff that we have in Caddo Mills. Yeah, that's fine. This is the elementary school that we're currently building that will open next school year. And one thing that I am very proud of too is that we celebrate the past and create the future. And something that I really truly feels like that brings our community together is that motto that we live by. And we have started naming buildings, and we named our central office, we named this elementary school, we have a naming committee, and then the board approves it. But it's people that haven't had an impact in Caddo Mills. Whether they were a teacher, longtime teacher, or a longtime coach, or just a community member that had a tremendous impact. But it's very important to me to be able to celebrate the past and to be able to honor those people that came before us, because we couldn't have been where we are today without those people in the past. So this elementary school is called Kathy Kirkpatrick Elementary School, and some of you knew Miss Kirkpatrick, but she was a kindergarten teacher. She started kindergarten. started the program in Caddo Mills, and she worked there for 43 years. So incredible lady, and we were honored to be able to name that elementary school after her. Am I getting the stage up yet?
Flash drive. Done with the flash drive?
There you go. This next one is the video of the high school that we opened up in August of 22. And it's just great to see all the excitement that comes of it, whether kids come in from Rockwall or Wiley or Prosper, wherever it may be. They're coming to our school, and our kids are incredibly proud of where they go to school now. They take care of that building for the most part. Some of them are still kids, but they're incredibly proud of that building and having something that is for every avenue of our school, whether that's an ag barn that you'll see in a minute, that kids can keep their animals, whether that's a state-of-the-art band hall, whether that's a Sue Walker Performing Arts Center. All those things give our kids a chance to be successful in any avenue that they choose, and that's what the school board's about, and that's what I'm about, just giving our kids a chance to be successful for the future. The standard is the best in Caddo Mills, and we want to be known as the best school district in the state of Texas. We want to be known as the best school district in the state of Texas. When you look at those real estate rankings, you'll see that we're number 31 in the state of Texas out of almost 1,200 school districts, something that we're very, very proud of. Look at a school district like Rockwall that everybody feels like it's pretty good. We're 31, and they're 32. So just to continue to build those things, and I always say there's no real ranking for school districts. You can't compare all of them. But what matters, what truly matters, is how our kids feel about where they go to school, how our teachers and staff members feel about where they go to school, to work every day, and how our parents and our community feel about us. And if you live there, hopefully you feel the same way about Caddo Mills ISD that I do, and I absolutely love being the superintendent of Caddo Mills because of your support and the way that we all interact as one family. So thank you all for that. I want to end with one last video. We have a baseball softball complex coming up, very, very impressive, and take a look. All right, I think that kind of wraps it up. We are working to open that up in January. So working incredibly hard. A lot of it will come down to weather in October, November, and December. We have a little bit of rain days that we can afford to have, but we hope to open that up for our baseball, softball season. We've lost a lot of games and a lot of practice time due to weather just during that January, February timeframe. So we're hoping that that'll give our kids a better chance to be successful as well, having facilities that we don't have to worry about rainouts and things like that. So once again, we've got an incredible community, and I thank the city council, mayor, city manager, assistant city manager, and all the people that we work with on a regular basis to make this as easy as it possibly can be. So thank you all for your time today, and hope you all have a good afternoon.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I just told Barry, it makes him want to have a kid play baseball or softball just looking at that, you know. Next, Mr. Hilton, pretty much, I would say almost the exact same thing as far as Mr. Allison. He's a wealth of knowledge for the Transportation Committee, and pretty much every speed bump or cone, anything that has to do with concrete in Hunt County, all the roads. This is the man that you want to talk to. He's got some pretty good stuff.
There you go, Dean. There you go.
I specifically timed it for no questions, just because. But he's got some pretty good stuff. If we can get, okay, see, oh. So,
You're right.
we'll see if we can work with technology. We had a wonderful non-dry run of all of this before. That's a lie, complete lie. So we'll get him going. I'll allow him to talk while me and Joel try and figure out the computer and or TV. So, Mr. Hill.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and this is a great occasion, and I love this facility, and it's good. The acoustics could maybe be a little bit better, but it's a great facility, and the reason I have knots on the back of my head is that I spent 18 years as a school board member, so I know what you guys are going through. It's not the easiest job. But it is one of the most rewarding. And,
I know what a chicken coop is.
Accessibility shortcuts, 17 items. Voice
American
button,
Pickers,
off.
that's one of my favorite
Frankie,
shows.
freestyling in Minnesota. We're gonna drive until we lose ourselves into the landscape and do some down home.
This is the same thing that we do at City Council. We're that good at it.
Let me just give you a little background, and then we'll kind of pick up, and maybe I'll skip a few slides. But I was asked to come and talk specifically about things going on in this part of the county. And of course, most of what is going on from a transportation standpoint is in this part of the county because that's where the growth is. And just like Joel and Luke and others have talked about, this is where the growth is in this quadrant of Hunt County. About 10 years ago, Judge John Horn, who at that time was county judge, asked me to chair a committee or co-chair a committee to look at transportation needs and planning needs in Hunt County. We worked with the North Central Texas Council of Governments, and we were able to do a master plan which was adopted by the Commissioners Court in 2013. It was endorsed by all the city councils in the county. And that's what really kick-started our work in transportation. We got Freeze and Nichols involved and then passed a bond issue in 2016 for $24.2 million to be used strictly for design, planning, and engineering.
About 2,800. I look at Frankie and we're reading each other's minds. This is a great deal.
And that we would try to use that to leverage with money from the state and federal government for the construction costs. And the reason I think people in Hunt County were willing to vote for a transportation issue was that they saw what was going on in the Metroplex. They recognized, as you have here, that growth is coming this way. And really our choices are either to try to manage the growth or let it manage us. And obviously the best choice is to try to manage it and get ahead of it and as best you can. You can't always do that, but it takes a long time to build transportation infrastructure. It takes a long time to plan, it takes a long time to get funding, and it takes a long time to go through what it takes to actually get projects done, get them on the ground. We've had great partners. Everybody has talked here today about the partnerships, the city, the school, and the chamber, and the county. And so I think we've had great partnerships. Judge Stovall is here today, and you raise your hands these days, or? Judge Stovall and Commissioner Monroe is here today, and we're glad to have you here. And we also have representatives of TxDOT, James Atkins, who is the area engineer for the Greenville office, Greenville and Rains County. And Chris Bosco, who is a principal with Freeze and Nichols, is also here. Freeze and Nichols is the partner with Hunt County in doing the engineering and planning work for the county. Our other partner who's done a great job is the North Central Texas Council of Governments, and that's where all the federal money comes to do projects in Hunt County. So I keep talking here, hoping that maybe we'll get something, but I'm not sure we're going to get there. So, what we did, we looked at what are the major projects that need to be done, and so we looked at projects that were highway projects where we could leverage the work that Hunt County would do, and we looked at where the greatest need was, and we looked at multiple projects. In the meantime, the State Transportation Commission looked at Interstate 30, recognized the fact that a lot was going on in Hunt County, along with the things going on in Rockwall County, and began to look at the needs on I-30. I gave you at your table, you've got a brochure. This brochure will be updated toward the end of this year. But I'd point you to, on page 2, there's a map there. That's one of the slides, so I'll go ahead and talk about that. Those are all the projects that are taking place in Hunt County that have been part of the transportation bond program. And you'll see that most of them are in that southwest quadrant. They're basically from Highway 34 to the west and from 380 to the south. So that's the quadrant that most of you, where you reside and where you work and are interested in. And so you know the needs. That's where the population growth is. And so that's what we wanted to address. The one project that's kind of outside of that is one in Commerce that has now been completed, and that project was to try to slow traffic actually going through Texas A&M Commerce campus, and and I think it's doing that, and it was a project to try to make it a safer environment for students and faculty and people going to the university. There we go. Well, you don't have all of it on the screen. Your menu is still on the screen. There we go. Okay, good. This is what you see on page 2 of the brochure, and those are all the projects, all the on-system projects that we're looking at. But what I wanted to address today, really specifically, are some of the projects that affect this area. So we'll look at I-30. We'll look at 1570. We'll look at 1903, 36, which goes from 30 to Caddo Mills, and then we'll look at a new project that will go from Caddo Mills High School to the Collin County line, and then we'll look at State Highway 66, where it intersects with 36, which is a real bottleneck right now that the city has asked us to take a look at on a short-term basis. This is the interstate. This is the I-30 project, basically from Roy City to Monty Stratton at the west side of Greenville. And you can see the dates there when that was bid. It's 2 different projects. One is the project that's closer to Greenville, which would be Monty Stratton, 1570 and 1903 interchanges. And then the second one is 36, 1565, and a new interchange at 2509, 2511. And so those are currently underway. If you get on I-30, you know that that's happening, and I think then the final part of that project will be in about 2027 to 2030, which will be, once the interchanges are finished, then the highway will be widened to 6 lanes. The travel lanes will be widened. So that's all underway. This just shows you all the various segments of I-30, beginning at Monty Stratton, 1903 and 1570. This shows you the interchange at 1570, and most of you will remember that currently, or originally, that part of 1570 from the Greenville Airport, basically to the interstate, came through here. The interchange is right there, and I guess we can look out the window and you can see the work being done. Well, that's 1903, but this one is being moved about 400 or 500 yards to the east, and it will take out the dog leg or the offset of 1570 going over to 34 and 1570 going up to 66. So that project will complete in about 2026, and you can see, you can see the costs there. These interchanges are costing anywhere from about $40 to $80 million each. So this is a major undertaking, all being paid for by state and federal funds, and being engineered and overseen by TxDOT. So James Adkins has responsibility for this project, and is watching it on a daily basis. So that's what will happen at 1570, and go back to the next one. Okay, this is the way the interstate will actually be when it's completed. And currently, you've got 2 travel lanes on each side. You've got less than 40 feet of pavement on each side. And when all this is done, there'll be 116 feet of pavement. And you'll have 3 travel lanes with 10-foot shoulders and aprons, and then you'll have a wall, concrete wall down the center. And all of the frontage roads will be one way, which is much safer. I know a lot of people complain about losing two-way frontage roads or access roads, but one way is much safer. And that's the objective of the project. Okay, this is the intersection of 1903. Go back. Yeah, there. This is 1903. So obviously that's where the pilot is, and McDonald's there, and so that one roughly will go through where it is today, and that one will be a gateway to Caddo Mills, and we'll talk in just a minute about the project from there into Caddo Mills. Here's a schedule. I'd ask James to provide us a schedule of the closures, and I think all of you probably know that 1570 underpass under I-30 is currently closed, and it'll be closed until probably May of 2025, again, depending on weather. And then following that, 1903 will close, and after 1570 is reopened, it'll be closed for about a year while that one is being rebuilt and increased from 4 lanes to 6 lanes. And then 36, that particular interchange will remain open until the new interchange is built, and there'll be a new interchange at 36 that really lines up with where 36 goes south from the interstate. So that interchange moves a little to the east from the existing. So the existing one will stay open actually until the widening project takes place, and then it will come down and it will have been replaced by the new 36 interchange. 1565, there'll be a closure in 2024, and then in October, which is next month, and there'll be another closure for about a year, a little over a year, when that interchange actually comes down and is replaced in increments as it's built across the interstate. So the whole objective here is to get all of the interchanges built as 6 lanes, 3 lanes each way, and then following that, travel lanes will be increased from 4 to 6. This just shows you the plans from Monty Stratton East. So there'll be 3 other phases that will go through Greenville and on to Hopkins County to widen the interstate. So it'll be eventually 6 lanes. And I hope I live long enough to see the day that's finished. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about the next project, which is 1570. That one will let in about the next 2 years. It's in the final stages of engineering, and there's some right-of-way acquisition that'll need to take place. But this will basically make this a 5-lane curb and gutter with 8-foot sidewalks on either side from Highway 34, State Highway 34, under I-30 all the way up to 66. I think this slide shows you the difference. Now that road is a 2-lane road with aprons on either side, and it'll become, as I said, 4 travel lanes with a continuous left turn lane, the whole length of the project, and then 8-foot sidewalks on either side that will accommodate pedestrians as well as bicycles. So it's basically being built within the existing right-of-way and will go under the new interchange at 1570 and I-30. That's the most heavily traveled farm to market road in Hunt County, particularly from I-30 to 34, with many people going to the airport. So the next project is one that we're really excited about, and this is going to have a big impact on Caddo Mills and a big impact on the region. And we've tried to sell this to state and the federal leaders as really a corridor for the region. And this will be connect 78 in Lavon or Wiley to I-30. And so there'll be segments in Collin County and then in Hunt County. And this actually will connect 1903 and 36, where they go past Caddo Mills High School. And instead of going on into Caddo Mills, we'll veer to the west and join FM6 at 66. This is a major project, like the 1570 project. This will be built with 4 travel lanes, a continuous left turn lane, curb and gutter, with 8-foot sidewalks. So it's the same profile. It's being developed. The segment that's the farthest along is the segment of 1903 from the interstate to the high school. And so 1903 then turns into 36, and those will become a single, basically 5-lane highway all the way to Caddo Mills High School. For now, there'll be a transition onto what you all know as Gilmer Street, which is 36, to take people into Caddo Mills, but obviously that cannot be the final result of all of this, because you basically go from 5 lanes to 2 lanes, and it becomes a real problem, and we'll talk about that on a short-term basis in a minute. But this will be a greenfield project going across the land, across over to where 66 and 6 intersect. And the plan right now is for there to be an overpass. There'll be bridges built across the low areas there, the creeks, and then there'll be an overpass that will go over the railroad and 66. So that will be a major undertaking to get that done. And in the Paris TxDOT district and Hunt County will be working on the part that goes to the Collin County line, and then the Dallas TxDOT district will be working on the part from 78 to the Collin County line. But this is really a major regional need that we have. This just gives you a little better idea of the parts of this project. The original is 1903 from I-30 to where it joins 36, and then 36 up to the high school. And then you can see there that the Greenfield project will go off to the west and go to 66. For now, the 36 will continue to go on the existing route into Caddo. Go back one. So this right now, these are just preliminary projections, but this right now is at least a $50 million project. I suspect that the part that includes the overpass and the bridges will escalate from there. But that's the magnitude of that project. Now, for now, when the project, this is 36 coming in from Interstate 30, the high school up here at the top. And so for now, the transition will be from the new alignment of 36 and back to Gilmer Street. Eventually, this will curve back to the west and go across the creek and over to 6. But the original, this part of it will get done first, and then the Greenfield project will will come later. That's a much larger project, and a lot of scope, and a lot of environmental issues that have to be cleared. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about is the traffic problems that I know a lot of you have experienced at 66 and Gilmer, and Matt and Joel have talked to a lot of us about the problems there, and TxDOT has worked with us. Friesen Nichols has drawn this drawing, and so the initial commitment that TxDOT has made is that they're going to do a repaving project on 66 and create left turn lanes on 66 going both north and south at Gilmer, and then one going north at Main Street. And this should relieve a lot of the traffic. This is Gilmer coming from the high school, and this is Main Street. And so you'll have left turn lanes for the westbound 66 turning southbound, and then you'll have even a left turn lane going northbound. And so that should help the traffic clear out better, because I think now it stacks up because one car trying to turn left and there's others coming through that light. It makes it difficult for the left turn person to get through, and everybody else stacks up behind. So, and I know you've got a lot of truck traffic going through there. And we felt like, go back to the slide before, felt like it'd be a good idea while dealing with the Gilmer intersection to also deal with the Main Street intersection. And TxDOT plans to do that during the first quarter of this next year. So it will get done fairly quickly with some local maintenance money that James and his team have come up with, and we're real excited about having that done. So anyway, that's my report of the things going on in this area. Obviously, everybody's going to have a hard time transportation-wise staying ahead of the growth. I mean, that's going to be a problem. And so I guess I just plead for patience and people driving safely as much as possible. And I know everybody's in a hurry, none of us want to wait. But it takes time. These projects take years and years to build. And we've been working on this plan for 15 years, and it takes a long time to get these things done. And so we appreciate Matt serves on our steering committee, and I appreciate the work that he's done on our steering committee. Greg Sims is also here. He's on the steering committee. But anyway, thank you for listening, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. And please don't call me if you have a pothole. Judge? Yeah. What's that? Yeah, well, the idea behind the bond election was that we'd be able to take the money that Hunt County put into it, and we would get 6 or 7 to 1 leverage. But because the work that has gone on in Hunt County and the willingness of the voters in Hunt County to put their money behind that, the state really accelerated what's going on I-30. And because of that, the leverage to date is about 20 to 1. And the county's only sold 12 million of the 24 million in bonds, and they're being very careful about how quickly or they sell those. Obviously, the interest rates are up quite a bit. The last time they issued 6 million at 1.47% interest rate. And we may never see that again, but we've spent about 10 million so far, and have the rest of the 12 million is committed for these projects that are underway. But there's others that need to be done. You know, one of the ones on our list is 1565, and I suspect at some point in time, 1565 will be redone with the same type of profile that 1570, 1903, and 36 will have, which would be a 5-lane profile with sidewalks on either side. Highway 34 from Greenville down through Quinlan, you know, terribly over capacity. So there's a lot of work to be done. So if anybody wants to take my place in working on this, I won't live long enough, I'm sure, to see all this get accomplished, but it's fun to see the community work together and hopefully benefit from that. So thank you for your time today.
So Joel put his cell phone and email. Dee did not. I guess that was strategic. I appreciate everybody. Give back. We took 3 extra minutes, so I apologize for that. Hopefully it was well worth it to spend a little bit of time, get some food on the city of Caddo. I appreciate that as well. But thank you very much from the Hunt County Economic Development Alliance, from the ISD, Transportation Committee, the city, chambers. It takes a village. If anybody's ever been to one of my chamber meetings, I talk ad nauseum longer than all of these guys do. And I'm just very grateful for everybody and anybody that comes to help. So thank you very much. Y'all have a good rest of the day.
This video has been brought to you by GEUS. GEUS is your community-owned provider for electric internet, cable TV, and true local programming.